Welcome to Joys of Code. Ever found yourself wondering how a simple, everyday problem, like, say, my food is late, can transform into a really powerful data solution? Well, that's exactly what we're diving in today. We're going to trace that journey from a basic idea all the way to real-world impact.
Okay, let's be real. We've all been here. You're staring at your phone, your stomach's rumbling, and you're just wondering, where is my delivery? It's a super common frustration, right? But for a company, that frustration, that's a data problem, just begging to be solved. Let's see how they do it. So let's meet our case study for today, a company we'll call Hungry Now. And, well, they have a big problem. Deliveries are frequently late, their customer satisfaction is dropping like a rock, and people are getting hangry. They need a fix, and they need it fast.
So what's their goal? It's pretty ambitious, actually. They want to build a tool that can practically see into the future, to predict if an order is going to be late before it even happens. Think about it. That means they can warn you, maybe proactively reassign a different driver, and turn a bad experience into a pretty good one. Now, this isn't magic. It's just a really solid, structured engineering process.
To get from A to B, the team follows a 5-stage life cycle. You can almost think of this as a roadmap, a journey that takes them from that vague business problem to a live, breathing solution that keeps getting smarter over time.
And I absolutely love this analogy. It makes so much sense. You wouldn't invest a ton of money to open a huge restaurant without first testing out your menu, right? Seeing if people even like the food? It's the exact same idea here. You start small.
So let's jump into those first two stages, scoping and prototyping. This is where you lay the foundation, draw up the blueprint, and basically do the initial taste test to see if this whole idea has legs.
First up is scoping, and this might be the most important part. Before anyone even thinks about writing code, the team gets together and asks, what does success actually look like? They're defining the finish line before the race even starts.
And check out how specific they get here. This is so important. They aren't just saying, let's make it better. No, they're setting hard targets. 85% prediction accuracy. Get alerts to customers in under 5 minutes. This is what turns a wish into an actual engineerable plan.
Okay, once the scope is locked in, it's time to prototype. You can think of this as building a quick, small-scale test model. The whole point is to see if the idea even works, to find out if it's feasible without spending a ton of time and money. It's all about de-risking the project. And get this, with just a single week of historical data, they found something huge. They discovered that things like bad weather and just the sheer number of orders coming in were really strong signals for predicting delays. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. It was the proof they needed to get the green light to build the real thing.
All right, so the prototype was a success. Everybody's excited. Now it's time for the main event, taking that simple proof of concept and building a robust, scalable system that's ready for the chaos of the real world.
The development phase is all about that transition from prototype to production. You're going from quick and dirty code to something clean and modular, from a manual process to a fully automated pipeline. You're basically getting it ready for prime time.
So how do they actually pull that off? Well, they'll engineer a production-grade solution. They'll refactor the code, wrap it up nicely in something like Docker, automate the entire workflow with an orchestrator like Airflow, and then deploy it to the cloud. And of course, they set up tons of monitoring and alerts to make sure it runs reliably.
But hitting deploy isn't the end of the story, not even close. You could argue that the final stage is actually the most important because it's the one that never, ever stops. Continuous improvement.
So, after a couple of months, everything's running smoothly. And then, the holiday season hits. Suddenly, the model's accuracy takes a nosedive, a 9% drop. Why? Because the real world changed. Holiday traffic is different, order patterns are different, and the model needs to adapt.
And this right here is the heart of continuous improvement. It's this ongoing cycle of monitoring how the system is performing, feeding it new data as the world changes, and constantly tweaking it based on that real-world feedback.
So what did the team at Hungry Now do? They didn't panic. They added new data signals to account for things like seasonal demand and traffic incidents. Then they retrained the model and deployed the new, smarter version. And the outcome? They didn't just fix the drop, they actually improved the precision by 9%.
So, what are the actual tools that power this whole lifecycle? Let's take a quick peek inside the data engineer's toolkit.
As you can see, different stages of the journey call for different tools. You've got your collaborative tools like Miro for the scoping phase, your data science notebooks for prototyping, heavy-duty tech like PySpark and Docker for development, and then monitoring tools like Datadog to keep an eye on everything once it's live.
So, what's the most important takeaway from all of this? It's that building a great data solution isn't a straight line with a finish line. It's a circle. It's a continuous loop of learning, iterating, and getting better. You solve one problem, and then you just keep making it better.
And that's really what's so cool about this whole process. It shows that great data solutions aren't just about fancy tech. They're about solving real problems for real people. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. What problem out there would you want to solve with data?
Thanks so much for joining us on Joys of Code. If this sparked any ideas, we would absolutely love to hear about them in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.